Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to
Finish Big.
Yeah, we are listening our way through the whole back catalogue of Big Finish.
The
From
whole bloody bunch of it.
Earth Search, Mind Warp
Yep.
to
Every Unbound back alley you can snick about in.
And today we are joined by our Unbound correspondent, Dylan Rees.
I'm unbound and unleashed and undressed.
You are there at the scene of the crime.
Even more exciting, he's in person in our house in the library right now.
I've spent the afternoon having a good probing, and now...
Oh, he was right in front of me with his legs open, but he's just crossed them now. How disappointing.
Well, today we are back talking about the Unbound series. So we're doing 2 releases, A Storm of Angels and Masters of War.
Yeah. Well, can I ask a question to you both, please? I don't know if anyone knows the answer to this, but well, what the hell? We had a whole season of 6, and then you just get 2.
I've got a feeling they were told that they couldn't do any more, but they'd already commissioned these 2 some way, somehow. So they were allowed to finish these off, and then they were like, no more original Doctors. And then eventually, much later on, they get a chance to do a few more.
Well, these are the 2 most popular Doctors, I think, from that first series.
Yeah, that's my theory, is they were like, oh, there's some potential here. Shall we explore it?
well, yes, let's do that. But actually, before we start that, I just wanted to say, since we recorded the Unbounds last time, Unbound has come back to Big Finish in a surprising way. Yeah, we've recently had the David Bradley Unbound First Doctor.
Which
I'm not going to rant about too much, but I don't think it really is Unbound.
Very odd.
I've not heard it, but I believe that really it just sets up for the next season to be Unbound.
Well, I've heard it. It's got the monk in it before the Doctor meets the monk in the Time Meddler. And there's a little bit of timey stuff at the end to say, oh, the monk's messed up the timelines. A couple of lines. But apart from that, it could just be a David Bradley standard series. I think it's more like we've accidentally cast 2 Doctors. One of them has to be Unbound, so they can't be both the First Doctor adventures.
It's a shame, because I think that is the Bradley one is the perfect place to do something Unbound. Like, kill Barbara, turn Ian into a nonce.
You pervert! Did you just say kill Barbara?
No, wouldn't it be amazing if in the middle of just like a season 1 story, Barbara just gets offed and that's it?
This was my point. I was going to say that the Unbounds that we've done so far have done something a bit different, whereas this feels like just like the most watered down version of Unbound, and the whole PR it's like a Peter Cushing Technicolor movie.
It's not,
like
though.
It's not at all.
I listened to part of it. I mean, I was sort of sleeping, and every time I woke up, the only discernible difference I could see between this and your regular was, 1, it was a bit more comedic in tone, and 2, David Bradley's performance. He's normally given a proper dramatic performance. He's playing Doctor Who, not even like Cushing's Doctor, as just some weird comedy wizard in a really mannered way that was kind of distracting.
See, I'd be more like, okay, what happens if at Dalek's invasion of Earth, Susan doesn't leave, she dies? What does that do to the character of the Doctor? And do something like those. I know they did this with the Colin Baker Doctor, and I'm not sure it worked, but I think there's something more interesting about doing it at the beginning of the Doctor's life and going, oh, actually, like there were key points that turned the First Doctor into the Doctor we know. Like, what happens if you change them?
Is this not something with a bit of a finite life, though, Unbound? Of like, well, no, because I was listening to these, and no spoilers to sort of going ahead to the stories we're talking about. It's like, how invested can you get in these alternative versions of... I think the only one that's sort of got any legs is the David Warner Doctor, right? And that's because they took it into Bernice.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to put down the whole... It's Unbound, inspired by Peter Cushing Technicolor, as part of the amazing creativity of the Big Finish marketing PR people in the same league as It's a perfect jumping on point and other such creativity.
Why are you being such a bitch?
But anyway, but also it just, the ones we're going to talk about today, if you compare them to what they're doing now, it's leagues different.
I just want to say to you, the Big Finish Insider is having a really tough time right now. He's been listening to Big Finish podcasts, hoping to feel better about himself, and now he's just heard you saying that.
Okay, well, shall we talk about today's stories then?
No, wait. Before we go in, I have a task that I've set you both. And just to see, thank God these people are writing Unbound stories and not us, my task was for you all, or for us all, to think up our own Doctor Who Unbound what if. And I know the two of you, the juices of your mind have been flowing, the cogs have been whirring. Dylan, what have you got for us?
So mine is a bit of a what if for both narratively and behind the scenes. In 2001, what happened if Death Comes to Time was such a huge success that the Big Finish license was revoked and the future of Doctor Who audio lay in that canon?
Ooh. So what's that? Is it McCoy, the Minister of Charles?
Well, McCoy his doctor's dead. He's died. Dan Friedman, who was behind it, said initially he was hoping to do, admittedly on a TV level, is kill the Doctor on audio, started Doctor Who The Next Generation, as he called it, with Ace and the Minister travelling around for a bit, and then the Doctor had come back regenerated at some point. So I'm proposing that, but on audio, and a continuation of that universe of the Time Lords are this magical sort of gods of the Four thing. They're all gone apart from the Minister and the Doctor. And what does that, and Ace is being trained as a Time Lord as well. What does that series look like? Doctor Who perhaps is a bit more of a fantasy, not in a Russell T Davies way, but that means you get no Big Finish after 2001. It's
oh God, Mark's about to have a
coronary. I know how mean I can sound about Big Finish on this, but it's because I love them so much. So I don't think I could cope with that.
If we sort of sum it up, it's what if Big Finish's license was revoked? Yeah.
I don't know if Big Finish is going to go for that one.
It would be bold.
But they could do a series, an Unbound series that was a continuation with Stephen Fry, Sylvester McCoy, and Sophie Aldred of that universe. So, I'm not saying they have to cancel all their ranges, but I think there's a world to explore there.
But I think that's a good idea.
I've never got to the end of Death Comes to Time. I really want to. I watched the first episode and it was great.
But I think that's what Unbound
we'll cover that one day.
Should do, go to that extreme length. I think it should do something like that.
And so what's your what if then?
Well, I don't really have one.
The creative brain of Mark Rowlands. Here we go.
Because I was thinking, what are all these different what ifs throughout the series? And the main ones were done in that initial lot of Unbounds.
There's one more.
And then I was thinking, okay, what are the what ifs that I want to do? But then it's now what Big Finish just do anyway. Like, what if the second Doctor escaped the Time Lords at the end of the War Games? Oh, that's the second Doctor Adventures.
What if Jackie Tyler met the Protons?
Yeah, all these different things. I was just trying to think, what else could, what if, I was thinking maybe the Eighth Doctor series, if that had carried on in the 90s, but then that would be the Lost Stories, wouldn't it? They're covering all these things anyway, so it's really difficult to think of something, unless it is like an extreme version like that.
I think the Eighth Doctor thing, though, there, you've got a point. I would love to see them do a bunch of 50-minute Eighth Doctor stories in the style of 90s American television. That some of them were adaptations, like the Leaky Bible had of old Doctor Who stories and stuff.
Fuck your Death Comes to Time. I want that.
But that is that Unbound, or is that Lost Stories? It gets the lines of sort of, I think... Yeah, it would start off as a Lost Stories, wouldn't it? Or potential, this is what could have been, or these are the ideas we had. But then you'd have to do something a bit more out there to be completely Unbound. So
it's Unbound.
I think
you
Unbound
can go mad
is really
on
difficult.
Those ideas, those crazy ideas from the Leaky Bible.
And, do you do Unbound in the narrative of Doctor Who, or do you do Unbound behind the scenes Unbound?
Terminator Daleks.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, mine is both behind the scenes and what's on the screen. My what if is, what if William Hartnell was 15 years younger when he took on the role of Doctor Who, but they aged him up to be an old man, and So he didn't need to regenerate in the 10th planet. And he went on and on and on. At what point does Doctor Who end? Because they never would have regenerated him. You have someone like Stephen Noonan play the character, and you do the 10th planet, and or whoever does a good William Hartnell, and you have him in Power of the Daleks for a clip, the War Games for a clip, the Invasion of the Dinosaurs for a clip, and show him going on and on and on and on and on. At what point do we cancel Doctor Who?
Okay, I could see that as, like it would be different clips throughout. But then my mind goes to, what if the first Doctor carried on? Well, that is Big Finish today.
I think it still ends at the War Games.
Ah, yeah, possibly.
You could get Hartnell could have done it for 6 years, and it would have ended at the War Games. I think
Imagine Hartnell in like the Mind Robber.
Hartnell in the War Games is actually a very, very appealing concept.
Oh, imagine, when he comes in that room, how dare you treat me like this, sir? I'm the examiner from the War Office. Here, chaps, we better watch out for the Big Finish schedules. If someone's listening to this, if these ideas are on the shelves
I'm
next
interested
year...
to see how these David Bradley ones go eventually, because maybe that this is just a setup for,
Marinus.
but with Marinus and everything. But if it's just carrying on the adventures, it's a bit disappointing, and nothing like what we're talking about today, because I think these are good examples of Unbound. So should we talk about the first one? So we are talking about A Storm of Angels.
A Storm of Anal.
Or possibly. Released in January 2005.
Can you do your usual?
What?
When you say, because I've got a little quote for both. You say we're talking about these two.
Oh, I did that earlier. Okay,
Oh.
We'll set it up for you and all of our listeners. We're talking about today A Storm of Angels.
Gloriana.
And A Masters of War.
I am sorry. I could never make you what you were supposed to be.
So, A Storm of Angels was released in January 2005, starring Jeffrey Bayldon as the Doctor and Carol Ann Ford as Susan. This also features Ian Brooker, Kate Brown and Ian Hallard, and this was written by Mark Sausage Platt. Oh, and it was directed by John Ainsworth.
Poor Mark Platt.
I don't know, I just
First Tim Foley's cock, now Mark Sausage
Mark
Platt.
Sausage Platt from now on. Right, well, we really liked was it Old Mortality?
No.
From before, didn't we?
Dylan was less
Oh, you didn't
sure.
like it?
I wasn't so convinced on that one.
I thought you did. Wow,
No, you
I'm
was less
shocked all
convinced
over
on
again.
Bayldon, weren't
I was less convinced on Bayldon, but this one I thought was brilliant. Everything I didn't get from that last one, I got from this one, and I left it wanting to hear more. I thought he builds this rich world. I thought Bayldon was better sort of plucked away from Gallifrey and this old wizened man in space. And I just thought it was wonderful. I would listen to this again and again and again.
Well, it carries on from the end of the last one. So the Doctor and Susan escape Gallifrey, and they're off basically fucking up history, basically, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like season one is happening, but they're just leaving a devastation behind them, which then
She's
means...
trying to point out, we shouldn't have done this. We shouldn't have... He's going, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, it's just a bit mischievous,
So when they meet Francis Drake, they're out in space, and it's this sort of Tudor times, isn't it? But out in space and space stations. And the Time Lords are trying to catch up with them as well. Yeah, that is a good point, though.
Zero?
Yeah.
Zero.
That is a good point, because, the Gallifrey stuff was quite heavy in the first one.
Well, I think we sort of come to the conclusion, Gallifrey's boring. So what if the Doctor stayed on Gallifrey is kind of boring?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a good story to be told there. I wasn't convinced that was it. But, I mean, this goes against what you've said about me recently, Joe, where you like Dylan, you like Doctor Who when it messes with the format. And it messed with the format last time. I was like, no, it wasn't for me.
I mean, this is messing with the format, this one, isn't it?
But at the same time, it's Doctor Who just travelling in time and space as usual.
I mean, the gags they got out of it. What is it Susan says to him? You even gave Beethoven a hearing aid, and all these terrible things. But there is a great line that Susan has about, when you're staring history, blood and tears in the face, you can't just walk away and do nothing. So they've genuinely, they've been making a positive difference, but a detrimental difference to the web of time.
Yeah.
That's a great premise. And the Time Lords coming in, they're right. They're like, you are a meddling fool. You've created all of this damage that we've got to mess up. We've got to sort out. Yeah, I wonder. Do you know, I remember talking to John Ainsworth about this story. It was around about the time that Renaissance of the Daleks came out. I did an interview with him then because he was sort of the apologist for that story. And he was talking about Storm of Ages and how he refused to let this be released when it was supposed to be released, which was a year before this came out. So I think this might have come out not too long after the first set, but the sound design and the music, he was really unhappy with it, and he kept saying, and he said, I want this to sound fantastic. And it does sound fantastic. I thought the music for this had a really sort of epic and sweeping nature to it.
Why didn't they do that for the Masters of War?
Yeah, well,
sorry, we'll get there.
Big Cheese directed that one. But the sound effects on this I thought were just brilliant. The steamship in space, that came alive really well. The space station, the glittering jewels, you know, just all of it. I was shutting my eyes and I could see the worlds that they were creating. And to a standard I don't think I've seen so far from Big Finish. So they're really stepping up.
It's top tier. And that bejeweled creature just sounds so horrific. It's like, it's so horrible. And just Gloriana. It's like you can see it all. And this is the Mark Platt that delivered Ghostlight and Lungbarrow with all these just quite horrid ideas that aren't the central hook of the story, but just makes his world a little bit more interesting.
I find it difficult to imagine Mark Platt stuff sometimes, but even I could see this. I was getting sort of Enlightenment vibes a little bit from it.
Well, it's that
well.
sort of romantic idea of the British Empire out there in space. But it's like, doesn't she say it's like a steamship out amongst the stars? Well, you can all see that. Just beautiful.
And my highlight was actually Carol Ann Ford.
Absolutely.
What a revelation.
Well, we said in the last one that she was really good in it, but she knocks it out of the park here, doesn't she?
This is the best performance I think I've ever seen it.
Even better than Shakedown.
Yeah. Because she's not having to play that younger, whiny Susan. She's got the grandfathers here, but she's playing it more of her age.
Yeah. Yeah, because she's an older Susan at this point, right?
She's a bit more sensible. She's not hysterical.
Has she been president already? He's taken her away from that, hasn't he? Being president.
Yeah, and well, we get the president version as well. And there's a scene where she's talking to herself, and they're very distinct.
Yeah.
She's the lead, though, right? He's the one that's sort of clucking about and being mischievous.
But she did a lot in that first one as well. And poor Carol Ann Ford, she has had so many Temu William Hartnells in her whole career, hasn't she? Richard Herndl, she's done David Bradley, all of these different doctors that she's had. I mean, she's had... William Hartnell is her least acted with doctor out of her whole Doctor Who career. And you feel so... And every time, we got Jeffrey Belder this time, she's like, oh, another one, every time. But they work really well together. This is the combination. This is the best first Doctor and Susan.
And very much at the ages that they're at as well. It's not about them trying to pretend that they're younger versions, like in a way that I didn't quite get Belden the first time round. As I said before, this sort of wizened old space twat, and Susan flying around in space just sort of mischievously messing with time. I think their relationship works so much better here.
Yeah, they are both unbound, aren't they? They're doing the Unbound thing. They don't have those constraints of the TV series, either of them. They're not having to do impressions of anything that was on TV.
I feel like you're making unfair insinuations about Carol Ann Ford, that she's worked through all of these men and exhausted them to the point of death, and then moved on to the next man.
Well, she's doing the Companion Chronicles, and William Russell has been the Doctor, and they're doing conversations.
Richard Herndl dead.
Every single
William
one.
Hartnell dead.
She's worked her way through a lot of them, hasn't she?
We're lucky that David Bradley's still with us.
When you say worked her way through them, are you saying she shagged them?
I should never
suggest
suggest
such
such a thing.
Insinuated here. Yeah, I like the fact that she got a properly mature relationship with one of the characters here too. It wasn't like Slippery Fish with David What's-His-Face from the Dalek Invasion of Earth and the odd little snog. No, it was a properly written romance between the two of them, where by the end he's so beguiled by her, he's like, please come to Earth, live with me, I'll have a whole empire for you. And she's like, no, I'm gonna stick with this doddery old git. But how I found the ending of this really moving, where you get that glorious cliffhanger where evil Carol Ann Ford turns up and goes, "Grandfather, I am very unhappy with you. I'm the one you left behind." And then, of course, I didn't realise that was being set up for the bait and switch at the end, where his Susan dies and the Susan that got left behind takes over, but pretends that she's still his Susan. And he knows everyone's lying. And it's so moving. I thought that was a beautiful ending.
I'm just trying to think of, in terms of emotion in the big finish, it doesn't really happen that much, but actually that was quite moving.
There's been moments already.
Not so far for me, I don't think. Well, for Carol Ann Ford at least.
I think
okay.
Charlie going, "Oh, Doctor, I love you" in Neverland was very moving.
I hadn't actually heard this before, so I had no idea that this was going to be happening at all. So it was all new to me.
Smythe crying about her mother in Arrangements from War.
Okay,
that was
maybe,
very moving.
Maybe.
You just have no heart, that's all.
And all the guest cast are really good.
Yeah.
Some Big Finish regulars.
But Kate Brown was in there. I'm going, I know that voice.
Who's Kate Brown?
We'd heard her recently. She played Excelsior, the evil tyrant from The Last in Divergence Universe. Our favourite thing about that entire season. She was the Queen in this.
You got Ian Hallard as
that's
Zero.
Mark Gatiss' squeeze.
Zero, and he plays Winter in the Gallifrey series as well. So I don't know if there was the same kind of character, basically, a sort of Castellani type guy. So I don't know if that was intentional.
Oh, sorry. Yes. No. I mean, I just thought all the way through, I could follow what was going on, and that's not the case with Masters of War. It was superbly executed. That was not the case with Masters of War, and the regulars were just on fire. Yeah. Like I could do a series of Belden and Carol Ann Ford doing these.
He didn't die too far after this, though, did he?
Nah.
Oh no, Carol's at it again.
Oh, no.
I've got a box set of these.
She's the first really Doctor Curse. Everyone she acts with, you better watch out, David Bradley, all right?
Has she acted with David Bradley?
Yeah, she did.
She's in a David Bradley set as an alternative universe Susan. Yeah, she's done it. And I'm sure she's done a Stephen Noonan.
Of Carol Ann.
Yeah.
I shook her hands at a convention and I've been feeling a bit peaky.
Did I tell you about how I spilled ink over her hands? Yeah. I made her all wet. But just like, you've read Lungbarrow recently, right?
I have indeed.
Now, this has that similar sort of potent imagery to it as Lungbarrow. He's got like a fabulous imagination, Mark.
Yeah, it's Doctor Who. It's sort of steeped in fantasy, but there's still a lot of science there. I think he makes Gallifrey this real other of a society. I know this isn't heavy, and it's not set on Gallifrey, or heavy on the Gallifreyan lore. It makes them feel almost like those guys that show up at the end of the War Games Plus, as opposed to a bunch of old bickering twats in a conference room somewhere.
Don't you love as well that I really thought this was going to go in a different direction when Zero showed up, and then he's the one that winds up being stuffed full of jewels and taken over. And you are right, that was a really creepy performance. Really it's hard to play. I was saying to Mike, it was a bit like Richard Briers in Paradise House, but good. You know how Al Briers plays being a zombie, and it's just a bit pantomime and
agreed,
coarse. Whereas this, I was just going, I wish you'd stop talking. It's really giving me the willies.
I thought you liked willies.
Not like this, I don't. Delightful, absolutely delightful. But easily, even including the first series, one of the highlights.
Agreed.
There's something relaxing about Jeffrey Belden's voice as well, hearing him and Susan. It's something chill about it.
He's very calming.
Yeah. Can I just say a word for the cover as well? Is this the first Big Finish sidebar cover design? Way before Nick Briggs gets in charge and changes the covers. Accidental sidebar.
I was laughing quite a bit as well as this. There's a wonderful bit where someone suggests the Queen marries the Doctor, and she goes, as a suitor, that would be like marrying a crabapple. And there was just great funny lines like that all the way through. Yeah, just wonderful.
Mm.
I mean, I've got
Yeah.
no notes really for this one.
No.
I've got notes, but I've got no critical notes.
I would listen to this again and go back to it.
Let's not talk about Masters of War. Let's just go and sit and listen.
Yeah.
No, we've got to get there.
Well, should we move on to that one then?
Yes.
So, A Masters of War was released in December 2008, starring David Warner as the Doctor, with Nicholas Courtney as the Brigadier, also featuring Terry Malloy as Davros and Jason Haig Ellery as the Quatch. I had to mention that. This one is written by Eddie Robson, who I think was quite a new writer.
Script. This is his first script.
Is it definitely his first script?
So he definitely got better. We'll say that.
And this carries on from the Sympathy for the Devil.
One of my favourite big finishes of all time, and my favourite of the Unbounds.
Well, so how did you find this one then?
Well, I couldn't remember a huge amount about this, and I'd heard it before, but I assumed it must be fucking great, right? So
David Warner and the Daleks.
and Nicholas Courtney, who doesn't show up a lot in Big Finish back then.
Don't show up a lot in this.
So I was very excited for them to pick up this story and see where it went. I was a little less excited about 4 hours in. It just plods along, and it's so sparse on sound design that there is a good story there, but it should have been a single disc. Whatever John Ainsworth was magic, he was working in post-production on the other one. He should have been working on this as well, because this is just devoid of any atmosphere, tension, or anything else. It's such a letdown.
I kept pointing out to Mark that there's a moment where the Daleks are firing their guns, and it's the same sound effect. You remember when we listened to that BBV?
Yeah.
And it's actually agoo, agoo, agoo. There's no layering of it. There's no volume of it coming up and down. No sort of sound. No, but do you know what I mean? It was just the same sound effect over and over again. It was, I don't know, really blatant.
Yeah, but the Dalek guns are the least of its worries, isn't it? In terms of the storyline, I couldn't understand apart from the Doctor travelling with the Brigadier after the end of the last one, what is the Unboundness? They're going back to Skaro. Okay, the Daleks are looking after the Thals or looking out for the Thals. Daleks doing weird stuff. Again, it's not Unbound anymore. It's standard stuff.
You just
it's
said
not
it.
what if, though.
No, the what if is what if the Daleks
were
protecting the Thals.
Yeah, but then Davros is there, and then you get this Quatch thing. What is the point of it? That's what I was like. What is the point of this story? What is it trying to say? And yeah, the Brigadier, not my favourite on audio, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, Nicholas Courtney. I've said this before. He is not good on audio, especially for Big Finish. The only time the Brigadier has entertained me on audio is the Paradise of Death, where he's travelling with the Doctor. That's when he goes to an alien planet. He's got a bit of that humour, and he's more of that character. Here, you didn't get any of that character stuff. It just sounds like old Nicholas Courtney reading the script for the first time and not taking any of it in. I didn't...
Yeah, no, I do get that. I think it's just nice to hear him personally. But...
my one big note on Nicholas Courtney was he said, charge it, there's only one of them, the same way he says, oh, I'll have a pint. With zero urgency.
Maybe the what if Nicholas Courtney wasn't very good at acting anymore.
But the whole of the first part, which is an hour long, the first part's an hour long, and the second part is an hour and 20 minutes. That's far too long for one story. But the point of the first part is a con, right? Is that we land on Skaro and we're supposed to think this is Skaro and the Daleks have enslaved the Thals, and it isn't revealed until the end of that first part that no, they left Skaro and they came back to protect them, and the way they're protecting them is by enslaving them. I don't quite get it, but I suppose it's Dalek mentality. And that's a fair premise, but I don't think if they're trying to say that the Daleks are altruistic, I don't think this story goes any way to explore.
And we've sort of had
that
that concept with the alternative universe Daleks in Dalek Empire.
Much better.
Well, yeah, I thought they supposed to be sort of related. This other version that come from Dalek Empire.
Do you remember that fabulous female Dalek? Oh, so creepy.
But I think that's the opportunity here that they should have done, or have spider Daleks or something else, or Davros, he sacrifices himself at the end, but he's not that different type of character. He's just been manipulated by these other...
I think there's a really good idea at the heart of it that just isn't exploited enough.
It's less exploring a what if idea. It's more just setting an adventure within the established David Warner universe from last year, isn't it? So I don't think it should be called an Unbound story.
No,
It's
at this
just a-
point, it just becomes another adventure for the Doctor and the Brigadier a little bit.
And you know, like when you get about a third into the second disc, so you're nearly 2 hours in at this point, and the war starts right between the Quatch and the Daleks. So the Daleks and the Thals are working together at this point, and the Quatch, whatever they were, weird. I mean, those were weird voices as well, but that was the other end of weird. They were really annoying. Sorry, Jason A. Gallery, try again. And there was this big war which lasted an hour, and we were doing tactics and back and forths and fights and sound effects, and I was like, fucking hell, I don't care about the Thals, I don't care about the Quatch, and I don't care about these Daleks, so why do I care about any of this?
Absolutely. And it's a shame because Eddie Robson will go on to write, The Condemned, Fanfare for the Common Men. Yeah, like really good stuff. And it's like, it's a shame to hear that this is his first one.
Human Resources, Dylan. Some of the best Lucy Miller ones he wrote.
Some of this is his inexperience, but there should be a script editor and a director going, this is too long, this isn't good enough, we need to... And it's not all down to him, because the sound design is so sparse, it's untrue. But somebody somewhere should have gone, this isn't working, we need to get this down to an hour.
Yeah, there was no reason for it to be this long.
I do think there's one MVP in this, and that's Terry Malloy. And I just think anything he does,
Yeah, he's great.
he
always
gives
is.
100%, and he gets some fair dialogue here. It doesn't really explore, because the idea is that Davros has joined forces with the Quatch in order to bring down the Daleks, but then it turns out that the Quatch actually were responsible for Davros's injuries in the first place that turned him into a psychopath.
Yeah, we're going to do this in Davros.
Yeah,
we've had
so
some really
much
good
better.
Davros releases already. It's not given us anything different in an Unbound way.
No. Well, I don't think thematically, I don't think it finds an idea that it can cling on to. There's lots of different ideas in play, and it doesn't find a character thread to run through it to bring it to a conclusion. So like when Davros sacrificed himself at the end, I'm like, what are we supposed to think about that? Are we supposed to be moved? Are we supposed to be like, oh my God, that's so shocking that Davros would do that? The best what if would be, what if in this universe, like Davros genuinely was altruistic and the Daleks were all good?
Yeah.
What would that look like?
Like an alternative Genesis or the Daleks.
And the Thals were evil.
Yeah,
Oh,
or something like that.
Okay, yeah, you can
Yeah.
work with that.
Yeah, but it just didn't really... I got bored in this. It was just way too long.
A story of the Doctor siding with the Thals and being in the middle of what he thinks is a rebellion, but actually being an invasion or something like that is a really, exciting concept.
What was the weird bit about the Dalek that thought he was Davros? The Doctor reprograms a Dalek, so it thinks it's Davros, and it goes in and tries to convince all the other Daleks that it's Davros to start a civil war. I was like, but that goes nowhere. And then the Quatch come along, and that's just irrelevant.
And to round it all off, the Brigadier stays behind. That's the most weirdest thing. Like, what of all the things to do?
Well, he bloody loves radiation poisoning.
He goes, what is it? It's about time I set down some roots and played statesman. What, on a radioactive blasted heath?
I mean, I've just got to assume that those Thals are as hot as the Thals in the Daleks.
I think he just fancied one of the Thals.
He was getting up.
Yeah, there was one of them, wasn't it? Yeah, he just wanted to settle down with her.
You've heard the stories about Nicholas Courtney and his fans.
Yeah, it's disappointing, and because we don't get much Nicholas Courtney in Big Finish. Again, it's another wasted opportunity.
But I've said this before, and now you pointed out about his performance. I mean, maybe they're a bit like, oh, maybe he can't play that part anymore. I mean, I suppose he does it in Spectre of Lanyon Moore.
He's great in Spectre of Lanyon Moore, actually. No, that's
but he's
true.
not called him on to do much.
But then he does a couple of companion chronicles. Yeah. Maybe he just wasn't interested in doing it. Maybe he was just not interested in an Unbound one.
Maybe he was just pissed.
Yeah.
I genuinely think acting for audio is a skill, and I think some people have it and some people don't. And you have to sort of raise it a bit to really sell what's going on.
Like Sophie Aldred.
She's the other way. She raises it too much.
But David Warner, as always, is great. And if it does anything, it carries on
Yeah.
David Warner being a Big Finish to then go into those Bernice Summerfield
You didn't get
stories.
much of a sense of him, did you, in this? As I did
No.
in Sympathy for the Devil. He was so vivid in that.
Yeah. But I think if anything, if it brought him, I can imagine it now. He's recording Masters of War. He comes out into the Big Finish corridor, bumps into Lisa Bauman. They drop their scripts. He picks up the Bernice one. She picks up the Unbound one. Oh, sorry, I've got your script. And then later on, they're at the Big Finish lunch, and she's like, "Have you tried the couscous?" She shows a bit of ankle or something, and then that, if it does anything, it brings them together.
Skip forward
then
10 years.
It is absolutely worth
They're
it
paying their bills together.
to then get all those box sets together.
Oh, yes.
Well
I mean,
done.
I'll never say more David Warner's a bad thing.
I mean, he's brilliant in it, and he's brilliant in everything he does.
Do you know what? I think if they'd have done this as a 1 hour two-hander with Warner and Terry Malloy, I would have been all behind that. With Malloy as the good guy and Warner cast as the bad guy,
That's also a good
like
idea.
the bad
yeah.
doctor, that would have been great.
Mm.
And they do great two-handers.
I don't think it needs to. I'm not a great fan of loads of Daleks on audio.
No, Jesus.
So maybe I'm a bit biased that I didn't really, in my mind, because they're not prominent on the cover. They're sort of in the background. I was quite surprised to hear the Daleks. I don't know. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind for it.
I think as well, like, I mean, it is too long and it is very boring in the middle. But like, if the twists at the end had been worth the wait. But like, the ultimate twist is what? The Quatch have literally manipulated the war between the Daleks and the Fowls. That basically the entire history of Skaro has been manipulated by this race of beings that we've never heard of before. That's the twist.
I mean, I sound like current Big Finish, but just, I don't know, have the Brigadier's brain taken out and Davros's brain put in, or something like that, and he ends up ruling the Daleks or something, and then the Doctor has to kill him or something like that. Do that kind of thing. Go that far.
Davros is killed, the Brigadier's mortally wounded and put into his chair.
Yep.
And is now the leader of the
We call it the brain of Davros. Yeah, really disappointing though, and a shame because this is the last one they do for ages. So maybe they realised at this point, oh, okay, yeah,
or
this is a dead end now.
Do an alternative Genesis, recreate those original scripts. Don't bother writing the rest, and everyone just reads the stage directions for like the second disc. Get David Warner to do that.
He'll never take off.
No, terrible idea.
However, this one's for you, Lucy McCall. All right, if you ever wanted to hear Nicholas Courtney saying the line, "They were pounding us," well, this is the story for you. Okay, you were laughing your head off at that bit.
I forgot about that
You
bit.
think
That
you
was
did.
worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, and just a word for the score as well. Where the sound effects were really sparse, the score was really loud at times. And I was like, okay, I don't think, because the ones that we could remember from Jason Ellery directing before are The Rapture, and that's a badly directed release.
You've just reminded me. I was going to say, why are the ones directed by Jason A. Gallery the worst ones?
Did he do Necromantia?
He did a couple of the Tomorrow Peoples that we didn't really enjoy.
Yeah.
He's done a few.
It's very often been the sound work as well, and some dodgy acting
I wonder
choices.
if he's like head of the company, it's like that thing where like everybody's off sick, so you have to do, you have to direct, like nobody else is available, and it comes down to him. He's got to do it.
And when they come back, they don't want to tell him it's shit because he's the boss and pays their bills. Like, oh my god, I think this is the best one we've ever done.
Do you reckon if I read this script and suddenly they all came down with the flu, it's like, have you seen the size of this script? I can't direct that.
And then Nicholas Courtney's there. He's like, "I'll buy you a pint." Yeah, all right, then.
I'll do it.
I'll help you out.
Get Terry in. Let's
yeah,
go.
get him in.
So, as a culmination of the Unbounds, then, because we're not seeing them again for some time, disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. I mean, for me, the culmination of the Unbounds will be that Bernie Summerfield box set with the Cybermen. I know there's a couple more after that, but that's like their last full series hurrah, I think. And it's fucking great.
Far as I could tell from the reception, that whole period, those 4 or 5 box sets of David Warner Bernice ones went down a tree with people, and people are saying that's sort of the last great hurrah for Bernice.
Maybe this didn't go down well because we are waiting like nearly 10 years for those after this was released.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
I maybe would have just done the one off, the Storm of Angels, and gone, woof, yeah, let's have some more.
Yeah. Well, there we are.
But they obviously decided there was no more, or Gary must have decided there was no more.
No, but I think the
leverage in
BBC
this.
told them they couldn't do anymore.
Yeah, I think
okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously they managed to get a bit of leeway later on.
Why would the BBC be upset?
Well,
Because Doctor Who's back now.
yeah. And they didn't want them having their own original doctors. And
Okay.
by the time I think it's Stephen Moffat's in charge by the time they bring Warner back, at which point the BBC's control of Big Finish stuff.
It got very relaxed, didn't it? Yeah.
And so I think they thought, oh, maybe we could bring David Warner back.
Because you've got all the kids watching David Tennant, and then they're like, "Mummy, I want to see
David Warner
and Jeffrey Bowden. Where I want him on DVD.
Yeah, David
Where
Collins.
It says on here that
Arabella Weir, where is she? I didn't see her in Sainsbury's today.
What my Susan Battles in Time card?
Well, obviously we kind of need to rate these like we did last time. There's only 2 of them, and we know which one we liked and which one we didn't.
Yes.
But would you put Masters of the War bottom of the pack? Like, from
I think I would. Yeah, it's certainly there with Exile.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Oh God.
Exile, and what was the other one I didn't like? Oh no, I
Did
liked
you
all
like
the
David
rest.
I would have loved to have seen another David Collins.
Yeah,
one.
I think I would. Yeah, because there's something quite interesting about him as an alternative third Doctor with a Brigadier.
That would have worked better, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we are. We all agree. There we go.
But I've got to say, as a whole, as an idea for a run of stories, it obviously has legs, and there are creative possibilities. And I think the most imaginative writers, Mark Platt, I can't remember who wrote Sympathy for the Devil. Oh, Jonathan Clements, David Bishop, who wrote the DEEP. That's the David Collins one. And I know you weren't as keen on it, but it went down well. The Rob Shearman one, and
I think maybe I was just in a bad place the day that I listened to that. But I just think that one. No. But I think that one was an interesting, like, Radio 4 thing in the vein of whatever happened to Susan Foreman or whatever. But it's not quite what I wanted from the Unbound range.
Still got the best line in the whole Unbound series, so. Doctor Who, you bloody bastard!
Oh,
right,
just wonderful. Well, there we are. Well, until Big Finish decides to bring Colin Baker back as the time. What is it called?
War bastard.
War bastard.
War cunt.
War with the Kralls and Leela and all that lot.
I'll be here.
Let's leave it there. Yes. There we are. Well, I've got time to tell you where we're going next.
Oh, please.
We're back to the Doctor Who main reign.
Oh, it's my favourite place to be.
And we are doing the Juggernauts.
Oh, Melanie Bush.
Ooh, get your jokes out.
I think she has she does. She has a romance in that one, I think.
Yeah, she does. The Game.
Oh, that's got William Russell in it, that one.
Sarah Sutton on The Game.
What is wrong with
And Dreamtime as well.
Oh boy! Now look, I try hard as I might. Yeah, when are we now 20 years on to think that a story released 20 years ago, mixing together science fiction and Aboriginal culture, won't be truly insulting to the ears? But
well, let's find out.
I think it will be. We have another guest on that one, the redoubtable Mikey Smith,
and he bloody loves Sarah Sutton.
Oh, does he?
Yes, he's a big Sarah Sutton lover.
Well, thanks for the warning. I won't.
Oh my God!
I don't think it's about a performance. I think it's about her tits.
Oh, okay. It's about middle of the game. Great.
He's just perverse enough, that he might like Dreamtime. Let's find out.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dylan, for being unbound with us.
It was a pleasure to be unbound or bound with you.
You've unbound your legs. Thank you very much.
Right. And are we all going to finish big?
Yes.
Right. Don't forget, everyone, to
finish big.